You know, you see these folks come out to these, and the PCs, and all of you people that are involved, and you're not getting paid. You come out here and you do this because you love your country and you love your community, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you, Pam, and thank you for honoring my family. I want to thank all of you for the prayers. This Easter weekend is especially, it's an important day for us. We lost our son and our granddaughter and our soon-to-be granddaughter-in-law December 16th in a car accident. And knowing that the atonement and the resurrection exist, which is what we're celebrating this weekend for Easter, gives us peace, along with the prayers of all of you, gives us peace through this very difficult time. So thank you for the prayers. It means so much to us, and we can't thank you enough for it. It also gives me an opportunity to go on media hits and say, you know, what's carried us through is our faith in God and Jesus Christ. So, and it's good to see Mark here. He and I go back a ways, back when I was a young cop. This is a man who served his community, and he continues to serve it at Judicial Watch and the great work that they do, trying to hold this government accountable. Not easy work, as you can imagine, but they're doing it every day. And as a cop, I think he'll relate to this. You know, a lot of people will ask, is it hard being a police officer? And some of you have probably heard this, so don't spoil it. They'll ask you, is it hard being a police officer nowadays, or a sheriff, and with the way people in the media view law enforcement and try to portray us? And I always say, you know, look, 98% of the people that we deal with are good, decent people, regular people. Some make mistakes. We got to hold those people accountable. 1% deserve to be in jail. And the other percent deserve to never see the light of day again. And half of that percent need to get out of politics. What you'll find from me is I am no politician. I am a patriot who loves God, family, and freedom, and I love this country. And that's what I fight for every day. Thank you. So I want to just give a quick message. I know we got a lot of speakers, so it's a beautiful day. I mean, the sun's a little bright, so I don't want you guys to sit and melt in the sun here. We did the Pledge of Allegiance. And I don't know if we all stop and really think about what we're saying in the Pledge of Allegiance. One nation under God. How have we gotten away from that in this country? We've eroded we've had a moral decay in this country. We're seeing people push agendas that just are not right. They don't feel good to us. Agendas on our children, trying to teach our children things that should be taught in the home at best, and probably not taught at all. We are seeing these evil agendas, this battle of good and evil in this country. And I think all of us are starting to understand just how important God was in the foundation of this country. Our Pledge of Allegiance, every time we say it, one nation under God. And I think we've got to get back to that. We've got to get back to the goodness. There's a quote that is erroneously accredited to Alexis de Tocqueville, who wrote Democracy in America. But the quote is great nonetheless. And if you don't know who Alexis de Tocqueville, Frenchman sent here in the early 1800s to understand America, the Constitution, the penal system of America. And he wrote the books called Democracy in America. But there's a quote that's not his, but it's a great quote. And it says, I searched America for her greatness and genius in her commodious harbors and in her ample rivers, and it was not there. In her fertile fields and in her boundless prairies, and it was not there. In her rich mines and in her vast world commerce, and it was not there. Not until I went into the churches of America and discovered her pulpits aflame with righteousness did I understand her genius and power. America was great because she was good. And if America ever ceased to be good, America will cease to be great. We've got to get back to the goodness in this country. Second is indivisible. How many of you feel like that is at play here? Are we indivisible as a country? We're not even indivisible as a party. We've allowed ourselves to be divided. We've allowed ourselves the division of how we view certain things. In reality, the conservative is somebody who espouses social conservatism, traditional ideas and values in this world that this country was built on. It is fiscal responsibility. it is free enterprise, it is personal property ownership. These are what establish conservative values in this country. We can't let these other folks divide us, not only as a party, but as Americans. We can't let them divide us. Do you guys know what a flashbang is? So a flashbang is a little thing that, it's like a grenade, but there's no shrapnel. You pull the plug, you throw it in there, and boom! It's a loud noise. It's a bright light and percussion. It's designed to discombobulate your hearing, your vision, and discombobulate you. And that way, whoever is coming in your home can take control of you. Well, we have been flashbanged. And we cannot let them divide us anymore. We are supposed to be indivisible. There was a professor, and I think I've shared this with some of you. A professor wants to teach his class about the Salem witch trials. So he gets up there and he says, look, I'm going to have all of you stand up and I'm going to whisper in all of your ears, and some of you I'm going to tell you you're a witch. And at the end, I'm going to have you all form groups. If any of you end up with a witch in your group, you fail the assignment. You understand? Yes, okay. Has them all stand up, walks along, whispers in their ears, gets to the end, he says, okay, now, form your groups. Well, the majority of them, they're just grilling each other, asking questions, trying to figure out where they were at, if they were a witch. And in the end, there was a couple larger groups, but most were small, individual groups. And at the end, he says, okay, now I want to have all my witches stand up. Nobody stood up. And the student said, hey, you messed up. And he says, did I? Were there really any witches in Salem, or were they just told that they were witches? That's how easy it is to divide a community, divide a country, to divide us as a party. If you're a tactician at all, if you've read Sun Tzu's Art of War, if you're a military veteran, you know the way to success is to divide and conquer. We're being divided on a daily basis, and we've got to get back to what the Pledge of Allegiance is, which is indivisibility.
Close enough.
That's a long one. We got to be indivisible. Our next thing is liberty and justice for all. How many of you feel like you have all the liberty?
No.
How many of you think that it was more free 30 years ago? 40 years ago? So nobody's going to raise. I'm not going to go beyond that because I'm not going to date anybody. I think all of us feel that liberty slipping away. We're seeing more and more government overreach, more and more government efforts to control different aspects of our life under the guise of safety. Thomas Paine had a great quote. He said, "The greatest tyrannies are always perpetrated in the name of the noblest causes. They will convince you that it's for your best interests or for your safety, when in reality, it is stripping away at your freedom and individuality." What this country was built on, liberty. We've got to regain that liberty. And how about justice for all? What did we see this last week that just completely obliterated justice for all? We watched an indictment of a former president. I thought the president from Honduras captured it best. He said, we are watching as you are arresting a political opponent, and then you are no longer in a place to be preaching democracy around the world. We got to get back to justice. I will tell you, this country was built on the rule of law. It was built, and it is the backbone of this country. One of the ways they're undermining the rule of law is at the border. That's how they're undermining justice. Flooding our communities with unknown people, criminals sometimes. Increasing the sex trade here in America on a daily basis. Flooding our communities with drugs, making it more and more difficult for us as local law enforcement to keep our communities safe. And yet, we see no effort on the federal government's part to stop this. Instead, they tell us that the borders are secure. Who here feels the borders are secure? Let me give you some statistics. I gave these 3 weeks ago in Congress when I testified. 1, we are at a 377% increase in Pinal County for traffic stops involving human smuggling. We're at a 461% increase in the last 2 years with traffic stops or pursuits involving human smuggling. A 610% increase in fentanyl and drugs coming into this country. We had 1.4 million pills that we seized last year. Does that sound like we have operational control? That our government, our border is secure? It's not. So when I talk about what we've got to do to get back on track, it's as simple as looking at our Pledge of Allegiance. God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. That's what we have to get back to in this country. Some media sources are making announcements for me. I'm not here to make an announcement, though I would love to do that for Pam. But I will tell you, I am seriously considering running for the U.S. Senate here in the state of Arizona. I think that we've got to take this state back. I think all of us feel the same way. If you drive around Arizona, I tell people all the time, you drive around, you would never guess we had a Democrat governor or 2 Democrat senators in this state. It's not the values that this country, this state really espouses. We have an opportunity to take this back, and I may just throw that hat in the ring, and I hope if I do, you'll support me. It's been an honor serving as the sheriff. We have done great things with supervisors. We've got the board has been so supportive. Our guys love working here. Our citizens, I think, for the most part, feel that they've been represented well, that we are out protecting your constitutional rights every day, protecting you from, we're one of the safest counties in the state, and we're definitely the safest large county in the state of Arizona. All right, I'm going to end real quick because I know we got a ton of other speakers. So I'm just going to end on a scripture. And it's one of my favorite scriptures, and I think it applies to this weekend. And it's Hebrews 12, 1 and 2. Wherefore, seeing we are encompassed about by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth easily beset us. And let us run with patience the race that is set us before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was placed before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. We are in God's country. This is the best country and the greatest country in the world. Don't ever forget that. But let us restore those values that we pledge allegiance to every day, which are God, being indivisible, liberty, and justice. God bless all of you guys today. Thank you so much for coming. God bless Arizona, and God bless America.
Hey, Mark, before you leave, we would like everyone here, please gather together to have a picture with Mark Lamb so that we can have that for our club. So head out there with your lovely wife. Everybody gather together, please. And let's get one picture to show our support for a famous leader of our faith and for justice. Come on, everybody, get together.
Good to see you, buddy.